Who would you rather start your franchise around? That's the question. Let us know your thoughts.
Let's go.
There are talks of Trae Young going to Los Angeles next year to link up with LeBron. There are also talks of Kyrie Irving going to link with LeBron. There are also talks of Fred VanVleet going to LA to link with LeBron, as he's also represented by Rich Paul and Clutch Sports.
I would like that.
But in the midst of us talking about this, Dub and I had a flashback, so we got to take you guys back to June 21st, 2018, when there was a trade that happened that could shape these franchises for the foreseeable future. LUKA Doncic was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks and traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Trae Young was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks and traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Was that a good move?
I'm going to be brief. I don't think it was a good or a bad move. You couldn't go wrong with either or. Tomato, tomato. I will say that both of them, when you look at their career portfolios up to this point, they align. Both of them have made it to the conference finals within their respective conferences. Both of them have averaged well over 27 points per game within the season. Both of them are just offensively dominant players. They could work in their defense a little bit. Trae Young is definitely a little undersized. LUKA is a little slow. Nonetheless, these guys are practically almost the same player offensively. Yes, they have a different skill set, different tools within their toolbox, but at the end of the day, these guys can score at a high clip. So looking at the Atlanta Falcons, not Atlanta Hawks, and the decision, man, them birds. So the Atlanta Hawks and the decision that they made back in 2018, I think they made a good decision. I think it's good from a marketing perspective because you got Ice Trae, and then, Atlanta is for the culture. So you got all the hip-hop artists, rap artists, whatever, coming out to the game, supporting Trae Young. And they would have done the same thing for LUKA Doncic because LUKA Doncic certified. He's a cool person. But I think him being in Dallas is the right fit for him. So ultimately, I think the Atlanta Hawks made the right decision culturally. Subsequently, the Dallas Mavericks was able to find their piece that matches with their cultural identity as well.
For sure. Man, you put that all together, bro. I can't argue with it. I think, again, after talking through it with you, yeah, I think it was a great move. Like you said, culture-wise, I think Trae Young fits better with the Atlanta culture as a city. As a team, LUKA probably fits better with Dallas, especially coming after Dirk Nowitzki has been there in Dallas and brought them a championship. And yeah, like you said, the numbers aren't that different. I think if I had to build a team around a guy, I would probably prefer to build it around LUKA. But if you had Trae Young, that's not a bad guy to build it around. I have heard that some of the players in Atlanta don't necessarily like playing with them, but I don't see why not. I know that sometimes his game is kind of unorthodox. It's kind of like a Stephen Curry style of play, but not at the level of Stephen Curry. But this is still a guy, like you said, this averaging, over 20 points, who's doing his job out there on the floor, who's been through a number of different coaching changes, and who, Atlanta hasn't had all of the pieces all at once to compete, and they've been able to still pull it together with what they've had. So, with one other guy, I think they thought it would be DeJounte Murray. I think that could be the guy, and maybe it's just going to take a little more time and maybe another piece to go with it. That Atlanta Hawks team can be competitive. With Dallas, offensively, everybody sees what they can do. Defensively is where they have to improve, but they still have a great roster. I think it definitely hurt them losing Jalen Brunson. Before that, I would say they would be competing with the Nuggets. probably in this Western Conference Finals that just ended, it probably would have been Dallas and the Nuggets if they had Jalen Brunson. But like you said, looking back, I don't think it was a bad or a good move. It was just probably more of a like, hey, this is a better culture fit for both of the organizations. And I think they can both look at it and say it worked out in the long run, hopefully.
A gentleman's handshake. That's
Yep.
literally what it was.
Always seals the deal.
Yep.
Listen, let us know what you think about the trade, man. We're 5 years post the trade. Like Dub said, both teams have made the Western Conference Finals. Both teams haven't won a championship, but they're competing. Who would you rather start your franchise around? That's the question. Let us know your thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll be back with more from Men in the Arena.